U.S. has struck a trade deal with Vietnam following months of negotiations. Trump said goods from Vietnam would face a 20% tariff. He said any transshipments from third countries would face a 40% levy. The rate is lower than an initial 46% levy Trump announced in April. Vietnam would also provide the U.S. with more market access, with U.S. exports to the country facing no tariffs. The White House and the Vietnamese Trade Ministry did not immediately comment. The one big beautiful bill is now on the House floor. The House Republicans less and less likely. But the president says talks with other countries are going better. Here's how things stand right now.
Liberation Day.
As the tariff deadline draws near, President Trump spoke to reporters about potential deals with several countries. Trump said once again Tuesday he isn't planning on extending the July 9th deadline, and he expressed doubt that an agreement with Japan could be reached by then.
We've dealt with Japan. I'm not sure if we're going to make a deal. I doubt it with Japan. They're very tough.
Trump suggested he could impose a tariff of 30 or 35% on Japan, well above the 24% he announced in April, and then later paused. But he said a deal with India could happen.
I think we're going to have a deal with India, possibly. And that's going to be a different kind of a deal. It's going to be a deal where we're able to go in and compete. Right now, India doesn't accept anybody in. I think India is going to do that. And if they do that, we're going to have a deal for much less tariffs.
Speaking to Fox News Tuesday, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said a deal was very close. Despite a recent deal with China, Bessent said rare earth products are not coming to U.S. quickly enough. Bessent told Fox News he thinks this will change.
We are hoping that they will flow at a faster rate. Rare earth magnets are flowing. They are not flowing as they did before April 4th, but we are confident that the Chinese will live up to their side of the deal.
Meanwhile, the European Union Trade Commissioner Marcos Šefčovič has so far welcomed draft proposals from the U.S., but the 27-member EU says its regulations on social media and other tech companies, which are much stricter than those in the U.S., are not up for negotiation. Indonesia and Thailand have also expressed optimism about talks with the U.S. Britain, meanwhile, has already managed to reduce tariffs on its cars from nearly 28% to just 10%, as well as remove them entirely for aircraft engines and other aerospace goods. Tariffs on British steel and aluminum are still under negotiation. South Korea, on the other hand, has said it would seek an extension on the July 9th deadline. On Monday, the Department of Homeland Security said Customs and Border Protection has collected more than $100 billion in customs revenue since Trump came back to office. It said more than $80 billion of that came from tariffs. In a statement, the department said Customs had achieved a collection success rate of more than 99%.
Irish Trade Minister Simon Harris says his American counterpart Jameson Greer is open to a deal on pharmaceutical trade with the European Union. He said the two officials discussed a potential agreement between the U.S. and EU last month. The EU reportedly wants immediate relief from tariffs as part of any trade deal by a Trump-imposed July 9th deadline. The bloc also wants a deal to cover commercial aircraft and parts, pharmaceuticals, and semiconductors. Trump said in June pharma tariffs would be announced shortly. Hiring in the private sector contracted in June, marking the first decline since March 2023. This suggests the weakness of the U.S. labor market may be accelerating. A payroll processor called ADP released the National Employment Report this week. It says that private sector payrolls fell by 33,000 last month. Small businesses, those with 1 to 49 payrolls, were hit the hardest, losing 47,000 jobs. Large companies accounted for all of the employment gains, registering 30,000 new positions. But economists are typically skeptical of the ADP payroll numbers. That's because they often diverge from official Bureau of Labor Statistics data due to methodology. The June jobs report will be released on July 3rd, a day earlier than usual due to the 4th of July holiday. 24 suspected gang members have been charged with drug trafficking in Newark, New Jersey.